Hello there. This is Ash with yet another episode of E-Wasted. And what we're looking at here is this 12th gen i5 build. Kind of you could call it the budget DDR5 build. Not as budget as you could go. I guess you get like an i3 to put in there, but then you're really not not getting the CPU performance that's competitive on the multi-thread or the multitasking level anyways. But anyways, we will start and we will go through this build here. So yes, let's switch over to there we go. There we go. Yes. So it's a gaming PC. Surprise, surprise. It's got colorful rainbow LEDs in this. It's a Montex X3 ATX case. The motherboard's an ASRock B760M DVA or HDAV M.2, which can take a 12th, 13th, or 14th gen LGA 1700 Intel chip. Got a new 500 gigabyte M.2 NVMe and a new 500 gigabyte 2.5 SATA solid state drive. Got 16 gigabytes of DDR5 40. I'm pretty sure that's 4800. I think I had a typo there. Uh-oh. Someone call the grammar police or the grammar Nazis, whatever it is. But yeah. And then for graphics, it has the AMD Sapphire RX 5700 XT. The 600 watt 80 plus bronze power supply here. And yeah, USB 3.0, 10, 100, 1000, 2500 Ethernet. Yeah, they jumped it up there on the Ethernet with the new gen here. That's, getting over double the Ethernet possible speeds that we did before, so to speak. And yes, it also has Wi-Fi. But anyways, we'll look at this case here. What would you pay for such a case? If you went and bought it new, you would pay like around $80, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, depending on where you found it. I managed to find it new, but used, or I wouldn't say used, but just at an extreme discount for like $30 on the local Facebook marketplace there. So that was, pretty decent deal there, saving some bucks there. I mean that you can't control the LEDs. That's the one downside. I'm paying that much for a case, and I think the LEDs should be adjustable, really, in my opinion. But I wasn't gonna squibble or haggle too much over a $30 case that runs for $80 otherwise. Anyways, so this is the motherboard, and I ended up getting this off someone like from Facebook also because they got it and it didn't work out for the build they wanted. I think they wanted like full ATX or I forget exactly what. But I ended up getting it for like $80 and they shipped it to me because it would have been like, an hour and a half to drive there. So I wasn't willing to go drive to get it. But it, used the old PayPal, so there's a little bit of buyer protection going on. Yeah, it's not too bad, pretty decent little, and it's the one downside like I see to like the Intel side of the DDR5 builds, and like the motherboards from what I've seen are a little bit more expensive than the AMD ones. But then you got a couple in that like Intel has the i3s out there. So if you wanted to do a super budget one, you could spend around like $80 on one of the i3s that'll fit in the LGA 1700 socket here. So they have that going for them, but I did hear that AMD is supposedly going to be starting some of their AM5 Ryzen 3s. So we'll see what those look like price wise when they come out and how well they perform too. Are they like is their multi-thread pass mark rating right in the 15,000 range like all the Intel i3s are? So yes, we will continue through this. Maybe we'll crank up the speed on my video here a little bit. So so we can get this whole thing done with while I'm talking about the other components. There we go. Double up that speed there. Now I'm moving. Look at that, yeah, getting that CPU cooler mounted, all that good stuff. So this is the CPU cooler that I chose. I was like, for some reason, I got it in my head that the Montex case was like more like white than it was gray, because it's definitely gray. So then I got like all this white stuff to go in it, and I was like, oh wait, okay, I got to kind of balance this out. So I ended up swapping out the fan with a black fan to kind of mix things up. It seemed like it looked odd aesthetically, just having a solid white CPU cooler. So I split the difference, black and white, put them together to make gray. I think it works. But anyways, so yes, if you were to go on Amazon, like right now, and get the i5-12600KF, it's like, a little over 150, almost 160 bucks. I saw it on sale the other day for like 109 bucks or so, which is a pretty good deal. And pretty much what I paid for, because I went to eBay when I purchased it and got it new for like 109. Ended up being 120 or so after tax and all that hooey. You look at the performance that you get, and it says you're supposed to get, multi-thread rating around 27,851, single thread rating around 3930, and we look at what I got here, ended up being 2981 and 4071. So definitely beat the pass mark expectations, which is always good to see there. And made it actually like really close to this like another build that I did was with a Ryzen 7, like the 7000 series, 7700 or something, and it was up there in like the it was like a little over 30,000, like maybe 32 or 33. But I mean, those go for like 300 bucks a piece. So is it really worth the shekels there to get that extra little bit? I don't know. And you see that it performs with let's see here. Here's like, find our little ditty here. Where is it? Okay, so here's the 12600KF. And saying that it goes for around 143. But you look at the prices of other things in its performance range, and you can get the Ryzen 7 5800 XT, which is, those have dropped down pretty good. They're like right around 130 right now on Amazon. But you're stuck with the DDR4, so you're gonna have the slower memory options, even though the 12600KF, you're getting the slowest of the DDR5 as far as what it can really process there. But yeah, and all in all, it's a pretty solid little chip for getting into the DDR5. I think, as long as you can find an affordable motherboard. If you're going, if you can find a motherboard that's like under 100 bucks, you're looking for a budget build, I think that's about the ticket here. If not, if you're sticking with DDR4, I'd probably, recommend the Ryzen 7 5800 XT, because that's a lot of bang for the buck right now for 130 bucks. That's, pretty decent. But if you're doing the DDR4 thing, or unless you find some other crazy eBay deal on something that performs better, then get that for sure. But anyways, here is not the graphics card that I bought, but here's about how much you would pay for it, and when I search for that exact model on eBay right now. And yes, it's a AMD Sapphire Nitro RX 5700 XT OC, and 8 gigabytes, DDR6. It's saying like right around 165, 170, and the RX 5700 XTs, you can get them from what I've seen on eBay. If you're careful about it and you look for a good deal, you might be able to snag one, like if it's not auction and you're really sniping or something. But if, buy it now, you can get them down to maybe 120 or so, maybe, and probably 140. And this was, I actually took a risk and got this locally, and met some dude in McDonald's, and and it worked out just fine. It was, like new in box. You'd used it for a while. It was pretty good deal, all in all. Even though I'm always reluctant to do the local buys with graphics cards that are like, over 60 or 80 bucks, because then you're just really, you are taking a gamble. If it doesn't work, there's not really any recourse in eBay. If you do the eBay thing, you can send it back within 30 days and you have time to test it. So, yep. I don't know. Good to take some chances sometimes, but got to be prepared for when it doesn't work out. So anyways, here is the solid state drive put in this beastie here. Well, the NVMe anyways. There was a secondary other solid state drive that went. But yeah, this was it here, and we look at how it scored, and pretty decent, over the 20,000 mark, which is pretty respectable as far as hard drive speeds. Getting up there, and I have to say that the 5700 XT did not really live up to its snuffleupagus here, because you look at that, and its average G3D mark is 16350, and what did we get? We got just around 14690. So I don't know exactly what that is. That might just be, and sometimes I've seen it to where the latest driver actually makes, kind of nerfs the card. And, if you get like an older driver, it performs well, but then you get into the games, where the games, they demand the latest driver. And that kind of gets me wondering if it's, kind of like the iPhone stuff we hear about. We're like, oh yeah, they're intentionally like using software updates to nerf the performance to kind of put a stranglehold on people and force them to buy new hardware. And I don't know that's the case, but I wouldn't really put it past any kind of, corporate entity to do that. I mean, it's very well possible there. They are doing that, just, every graphics driver update, it's required to play the games. For some games, not all of them require the latest driver. But could it also be nerfing the card's performance? We're like, hey, that's, that just doesn't really hit like it used to, buddy. I don't know. It could be. It could very well be. So what else did we have here? So we had that, our NVMe. And here is the RAM that I got. So yeah, that was a typo. There is no DDR5 4600. This is DDR5 PC5 4800B. And yes, it's 2x8 gig, 16 gigabyte kit for like $30 off eBay. Is I'm pretty sure it was like used, but trying to find a new kit for like, I don't know, around the same price, it's not gonna happen really on Amazon as far as I saw. You can get like a new single stick for around like, I don't know, 33 to 35. And if you go up, you want, even two sticks, it pretty much gets up to like the $40 range from what I saw. So you're looking for the dual channel, just 16 gigs, but a lot of people look at it like, oh, but I mean, if you're going DDR5, then you might as well, it's kind of pointless to only have 16 gigs, so might as well just get the 116 gig if you only have like a 2-slot motherboard. That way you've got room to upgrade. That's kind of how I take it. Because then as far as like actual performance loss, look at, from having a single stick versus dual channel, it's pretty negligible. It's like, I don't know, maybe 1 to 5%, and then it leaves you the room to upgrade. And you don't have to pay out the 60 to 70 bucks up front to get the 32 gigs when you're making your purchase, building your system. Anyways, yes, here, I'm pretty sure this is the power supply that I stuck in here. Yeah. Thermaltake Smart 600 80 plus white. They were like right at 41 bucks or so plus tax and whatever. They recently raised to like 45 bucks, but that's still pretty good buy. But then the AVG, which is also a pretty pretty solid brand. They put their 600 watt power supply out right at 41 also. So that's what I've been doing recently, just since the price shifted just a little bit. Price shifts, you gotta shift with the prices to get that affordable budget build going on here. Yeah, I think we're just about done with our video here. So we'll go back and let's see here. What do we have? Our video, it's almost over. There's nothing going on. It just boop a doop a doop. What? Yeah. Back. Get that. Yeah, there's that memory from eBay. So yeah. Yeah, it's pretty solid build. And this one, like, it didn't actually sell per se. I ended up trading it off for like a pretty decent gaming laptop and $100 on top of that. I ended up selling the laptop for like I don't know, like $660, I believe. So that's about what I was trying to get for it. I'm back at what was I trying to get for this thing? 750. I think originally I was shooting for like the 800 range, but usually with these it's, I don't know, right around between 7 and 800 you can sell them for something in this range. I don't know, something like that. But I think we've about covered it all here. I think this one's about done, and we will just call it a wrap. And we will see you for the next one, which I forget exactly which build it's going to be here, but there will definitely be a next one. I'm almost positive on that. So have a good one. Bye bye.